Here's the biggest mistake that most people make when it comes to spiritual protection. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Kyle Gray. Welcome back to my channel. My life's mission is to help as many people get spiritually connected as humanly possible. And in this space, I like to explore the intersection between all things magical and spiritual to support you having your very own experience. Today, I want to speak about dealing with energies and negative energies and how to protect yourself from them. This is a recurring request, and I have covered this subject previously before on this channel, but I felt like it would be really cool to do an update. So I've been exploring and dabbling with spiritual energies for a very long time. And over the years, I have really refined my practice on spiritual protection. But like most people dabbling in the spiritual realms, I learned about this idea of putting yourself in a bubble to protect you from lower energies. And I've been doing that for a long time. But one of the things that I found early on in my career is that when I was placing myself in these psychic bubbles, I realized that I was still feeling drained, and often if I was, being exposed to certain energies, I was still feeling super tired and washed out, and I had wondered why. So let's just talk about energy before we dive into why this was happening. And if it's happening to you, I want to fix it today and for good. So everything in this world is energy. We're all experiencing energy, but not only that, we're also all transmitting energy and we're receiving energy. So you, on a good day, are transmitting good vibes, walking into the space and making this influence on everyone and everything around you. But you're also doing exactly the same thing when you're having a bad day. And we all know what it's like to walk into a space when someone's in a bit of a bad mood. It feels edgy, it feels uncomfortable, and sometimes it can feel really draining. But we also know what it's like to be in conversation with someone who just feels like they're sucking the life force out of you. They're maybe unconsciously being this psychic vampire and they are draining life out of you. We all know how that feels, and it doesn't feel good. So how do we deal with it and how do we stop it? I think for the most part, imagining yourself in a bubble of light can protect you. In fact, I'm friends with a scientist who was speaking about being on a hike with a bunch of friends, and when they realized they were walking through poison ivy, he imagined himself in a bubble of light. But the people who were on the trip, who freaked out that they were in the middle of poison ivy, ended up coming down with a giant rash all over their body, whereas he was absolutely fine. So we know for a fact that imagining yourself in a space of protection can actually have an effect on your body, and absolutely it can have an effect on your psyche. But why do those who imagine themselves in a bubble still feel drained at the end of the day? The truth being told is that most people don't put protection on before they leave the house. And usually when you've been exposed to a dark energy or a negative energy, that's when you remember to cloak yourself in the bubble. So, for example, you meet the person in the street that you didn't want to meet, and this person is draining the life force out of you. And even though you're nodding your head, pretending you're listening to them, inside your head, you're like, oh my goodness, this person is draining the life force out of me. I need to get away from them as soon as possible. I need to protect myself from their energy. And as you're speaking to them, even though you're pretending to listen, you're imagining yourself being enveloped in a light of protection. Well, here's the thing. It's called cling wrap theory. When you are being exposed to an energy that does not feel good, if you are not cutting the connection between you and that person before you imagine yourself in the bubble, just like sandwiches in your school bag when you were younger being wrapped in cling wrap, being all smushy, you are smushing yourself in the energy. You're cloaking yourself in the bubble with that weird vibe that you don't want to deal with. And it's actually eating away at your energy from the inside of your bubble. You don't want that. You don't want that. The best thing for you to do is to get yourself out of the conversation, not put yourself in the bubble, excuse yourself to a private space and to clear the energies first before you go on with your day. If you can clear the energies, remind yourself who you are and re-energize yourself, then place yourself in a bubble of protection, you're going to have a far much more powerful experience and you're not going to be drained. So here's how you do that. When you're speaking to the person and you're trying to get away, I like to imagine an angel with a gigantic big sword just cutting the lines of conversation between us. So I'm like, yeah, But at the same time, I'm imagining Archangel Michael and he's like Jack and the Beanstalk style, like cutting through the cords of connection between me and this person. I'm imagining him like hacking those cords away. Because here's the thing. If that person is having a bad day or they're being a psychic vampire, their weird vibes are not your responsibility. It is not your duty to heal them today. Maybe in the future that opportunity will become available to you, but in that moment, if they're draining you, you need to cut the drain. So I like to imagine angels with swords of light just like cutting all those cords away. And then I will take myself to a bathroom or a private space and I will invite the angels to cut all the cords that bind me to people, places, situations, fears, stories, constitutions, institutions, fears, dramas, or any other bullshit that exists out there. And yes, I use those words. I imagine all those cords being cut. And then I imagine Archangel Michael coming over with a vacuum and he's like, any residue, any like fluff, anything that's in that aura, he's like, and he's like zapping all out of my aura and it's like completely cleaning it. And then at that point, I will then say something along the lines of, Archangel Metatron, thank you for using sacred geometry to clear the mental, emotional, physical, and even quantum spaces around me. Thank you for clearing the space and filling it up with pure divine light. And then I'll do this thing where I'll be like, I am the keeper of my mind and of my body, and wherever love is present, fear is a stranger, and love is here in me and all around me. And then I'll imagine a divine light, a light from a presence that is higher than me, streaming down, hitting the crown of my head, and then enveloping me in this golden bubble, this cocoon of light. And any negative energy that comes near it just gets burnt away and sent back out, deflecting away. That's the difference between psychic protection and spiritual protection. Psychic means you're doing it yourself, using your own psyche to protect you. Eventually, at some point in your day, you're going to be drained or tired or overwhelmed. And so therefore, your energy, your psychic energy is going to run out. And when that runs out, so do your shields. If you're inviting a higher power, a higher presence to envelop you in that light, then it is doing the work for you. And you are saving your own psychic energy for whatever other needs you may have. And that's the difference. So, cut the cords, clear the space, remind yourself who you are, and then welcome protection from a higher power. And that will keep you clean and clear. So, the biggest mistake that most people make when it comes to psychic protection or spiritual protection, they're doing it too late. Do it before you leave the house. You will not have this issue. Do it before you go to sleep and you will sleep like a baby. I am telling you. I am promising you. I give this out to people all the time. Friends. People have been experiencing spiritual energies for a long time. This is the game changer. And I cut it down into 4 steps. Cleanse, clear the energy. Exfoliate, clear every ounce of energy. Tone, reaffirm who you are. Moisturize, put yourself in the bubble of protection. That is the steps of Angelic Protection 101. If you liked this video today and you want to go even further with that, in the comments below you will find my free Angelic Protection 101 kit that gives you all the steps you need to do and an evening meditation that leads you through the practice so that you can sleep like a baby with angels protecting you. Let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Subscribe to this channel and I will see you in the next one.